Hello and welcome to Rosten's Review, Episode 3. Welcome back. All right, so we had a big week this week. Instead of focusing on historical thinking skills and ways to annotate and what the difference between a primary, secondary source was, we actually did some history this week. It was awesome. So we started off with early humans, and we talked about how farming affected early humans. So if you remember, we started our day, and I'm going to screen share this up right now. Whoa. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe this will. Hold on. Work with me here, people. Okay, hold on. Screen share. No. Anybody here? No one's here. That's a bummer. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Whoa. All right. So basically what we did is I showed you a picture of early humans farming, and then you guys did an I Notice, I Wonder chart. And after we did the I Notice, I Wonder chart, we talked about how farming affected humans. Okay. So you went and looked at 4 different excerpts of a secondary source. You identified the critical content by bracketing the information, which is part of the 6 points of annotation. And then we summarized what we learned. And so we came up with 3 things that you absolutely needed to know from that first lesson on early humans. The first thing is that farming is the reason why civilization started. People stopped being hunters and gatherers, and they started settling in one place. And they started growing crops and domesticating animals, which is actually our second reason. They domesticated animals so they didn't have to hunt anymore for their food. It was right there for them, just waiting. And they also started experimenting with growing other crops. And then last but not least, the early civilization started near water, specifically rivers, like in Mesopotamia and the Middle East in the Fertile Crescent with the Tigris and the Euphrates River. So we did that on the first lesson of the week. And then the second one is where we really dug deep into early humans and actually what farming was like for early humans. So we started off the day by watching a brain pop video on the agricultural revolution. We then talked about how agriculture means land, to work the land, and revolution is to change. So we talked about how an agricultural revolution is how farming changes people's lives. And that's exactly what it did to the early humans. So we know from the article that we did in class that humans' lives dramatically changed. Their diet started to change. The way they lived started to change. The clothing they wore. They had to create shelter. So all these things were happening. We also learned how they grow crops, how they needed the rivers to use irrigation systems to bring water to the crops. We learned about how they harvested the crops with a sickle, right? And then we learned about how they stored it, how they had cows walk on top of it to dehusk the grain, and then how they used these storage facilities called granaries. Who would have thought? And those granaries held the grain in them for over the winter, because during the winter time it was cold. You can't grow crops during the winter, so that way you have food. Okay. So that's what we did this week. We started again. We did some more 6 points of annotation. On the second day, we worked on identifying topic sentences, and then we did identifying the critical content. And as we know, critical content is another way of saying important information. So we did that. We handed in our early human timelines this week. PowerSchool has been updated. I graded everything, so it is up to date so far. If your class handed in your timelines, So I will still accept them. They are late, though, so they will be assessed a grade based on the lateness of your timeline. So it does need to get in unless you've come and spoken to me or were absent. But please make sure that if you haven't, you need to come talk to me. Other than that, for green, blue, and red class who I saw today, your homework is to write 1 to 2 sentence summaries of the 3 sections of the article that we read today in class. Remember, a summary is just a brief description of what you learned in your own words. You can do that on Google Classroom. I set up an assignment there. There's also a Google Doc there that you can use. So once you're done filling it out, all you have to do is hit that blue button on the top right and make sure that you turn it in via Google Classroom. Yesterday was Meet the Teacher Night. It was very exciting to meet all your parents. So hello, parents out there. It's nice to see you again. It was very nice to meet you. I hope I didn't rush through the curriculum too much, but if you keep on following along with these videos by hitting that bell and subscribing, that way you'll know when I go live or post a new video. So that's all I've got for this week. It's Friday. I want to go home. I want to go play with my 2-year-old son and kind of enjoy the weekend. So remember, homework, green, blue, and red class, 1 to 2 sentence summaries. Orange and yellow, you didn't have any, so good for you. I'll see you all on Monday. I'll see you all next week. Please remember to like the video by giving it a thumbs up. Hit the bell to be notified of when I go live or post a new video. And I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Remember, be safe. Don't be stupid. See you all on Monday. Remember, rule number 76, no excuses. Play like a champion. I'm out.